Well, looks like Rashi Rice isn't the only one that's out today. Brennan is too. That's all right. I got your recap. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Brian. It's the Week 4 recap, and I am here for Too Much Fantasy Football on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Thanks for joining us. I know Brennan's out. You're stuck with me, but it's okay. We're going to be rolling through 8 different subjects today. We got a little bit to talk about, some injuries, some good, some bad. Let's jump right into it and put a couple minutes on the clock. Boom! Brennan, say hi to the folks. There we go. Look at him. He's a little confused by this game, but who isn't? Jets are going to jet here. They lose to Denver in a 9-10 game. It was ugly, folks. Breece Hall had 4 yards on the ground, 10 carries, 4 yards, had 14 through the air on his 5 targets, caught 2 of them. Braylon Allen actually looked like the better back. Of course, it was only 8 carries for 34 yards, but we're learning this Denver defense is for real. We've seen Patrick Surtain shut down many a wide receiver this year, including Garrett Wilson, who was held to 5 for 8 for 41 yards. Allen Lazard saw 8 targets as well, pulled in for 58 yards, and then Mike Williams 4 for 5 for 67. Not a bad overall as far as the target distribution. I mean, 42 passes from Aaron Rodgers will do that to you, but it was still ugly, so damn ugly. Ugly so much that this is the first time that we've had a team win a game with only 60 passing yards with a minimum of 20 attempts. Bo Nix, 12 for 25, 60 yards and a touchdown. Scrambled 5 times for only 3 yards. This might be the best thing we can take away from it, though, is Javonte Williams. It's been a huge disappointment. Absolutely huge disappointment. Not that he didn't disappoint you with his 9-point performance in week 4, but 16 carries for 77 yards, saw 3 targets, caught 2 of them. He might be usable going forward. I know he's hitting waiver wires. People are looking to move on from just the pedestrian amount of numbers you're getting from him. He's closer to a wide receiver or running back 4 than he is a 3 right now. But he's getting usage. You cannot drop a starting running back. It's so hard to do that, especially as we get into the bye weeks with injuries ramping up. So question marks, but he might be usable as we go down the road. Denver does have the Raiders this coming week, a team you can run on. But outside of that, it looks like Courtland Sutton's the only thing you can play here. 3 for 9, 9 targets, brought in 3 of them, 60 yards and a touchdown. Bo Nix is what we thought he was, the 6th best or 5th best quarterback, 6th best quarterback drafted in the 2024 draft. I don't know. Can we see the Jets bounce back a little bit more? They're sitting at 2-2. Some decent defenses they have played, but they do have the revenge game coming up against Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's going to be playing. See if he sees ghosts with the Jets or not. But I'm hoping we can pull our heads out of our ass a little bit. And Tyler Conklin, super excited for him as a streamer. 8 targets, only brought 4 in for 17 yards. Thanks, Tyler. Talk about a great game here. I mean, it was a tale of 2 different halves for both teams. Vikings 31, Packers 29. Are we noticing that Jordan Love is 2-0 or 0-2? Malik Willis is 2-0. Maybe we're going to have a quarterback change? Just kidding, folks. But Sam Darnold, 20 for 28, 275, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Could have had a couple more like we've seen every week, but continues to get it done. 7 carries for 15 yards. Aaron Jones, 22 carries, 93 yards. Finished with 15.9 points. Ty Chandler not being used quite as much as I hoped, but I still will. I'm willing to put him into the mix, willing to grab him off waivers. Jordan Addison had a rushing and receiving touchdown. It was great to see him getting involved coming off that injury. Justin Jefferson, probably one of the worst days we're going to see for him on the year. Only 6 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. 17-point in half PPR scoring, and that was a pedestrian day for him, right? As far as the Green Bay Packers, this is the big one. We're looking at Christian Watson with the high ankle sprain, potentially going to IR, probably for 2 to 4 weeks, possibly longer. With that, we had the emergence of Dontavian Wicks. 13 targets, 5 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to be probably my big priority waiver that I'm going to be pushing for. Romeo Doubs isn't owned in near enough leagues as well. So I think as the guy that is the number 1 route runner on that offense, I think he deserves to be looked at as well. Jaden Reed just looks like he is going to be a top 5, top 10 receiver all year. Emmanuel Wilson, worth checking out because they're trying to split up that backfield and Josh Jacobs just isn't looking like I want him to. Alrighty, Jaden Daniels here with Washington. They took on Arizona. Arizona's not looked great on defense. They had that one game in week 2 where they really came out swinging, but ever since then, Kyler Murray has been just disappointing. A guy that you have to look at as a top 12 quarterback each and every week, just with his rushing floor, his dynamic playmaking between that and all of his receivers. You have to keep putting him out there, but this is not the guy that I put on my back and said he's going to carry me to a championship. Or I guess I got on his back. Maybe that's what happened. James Conner, though, 18 for 104 and a touchdown. Trey Benson got used a little bit, 9 carries, 50 yards. This guy needs to be owned. 12-plus leagues. I get it's going to be hard to kind of fit him on rosters with these injuries and bye weeks, but Trey Benson is going to be easy RB1 if and when James Conner gets knocked out. He will see majority of the workload. He will get used. He's got that explosive, that quick little jitter. So I'm really excited to grab him. On the other side, as far as the running backs, Brian Robinson, 21 carries, 101 yards, touchdown, caught all 3 of his targets for 12 yards. But Jeremy McNichol, the old Titan, came in there for 8 carries, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brian Robinson had a great freaking day, but he was still outproduced by McNichols with the 2 touchdowns. So I don't see this happening regularly. We did see Austin Eckler out. Eckler has looked pretty decent as that complimentary role to Brian Robinson, but Arizona, they're letting a lot of running points go up there, so that's kind of the explanation we get with that one. Terry McLaurin, 7 for 10, 52 yards and a touchdown. Nothing great, but with a rookie quarterback, especially one that runs as much as he does, I'm thrilled with McLaurin. And then as far as Jaden Daniels, it's hard. I see the argument on both sides. Everybody's saying he's had a easy start to his career, but that's not a bad thing. Let's give him an easy start, build some confidence, and let's see what this kid can really do. 26 for 30, 233, touchdown, 2-point conversion, pick, 8 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown. He is just blowing accuracy metrics out of the water as far as rookies go, as far as some of these regular quarterbacks go. It's so incredible to see what he's doing. And for everybody who drafted him, it looks like you got yourself a steal, a borderline league winner, if you will. Alrighty, folks. If you are a Kansas City fan, if you are out there in Arrowhead for this game, you're be a little sad. Chiefs, their three-peat is in jeopardy. We've lost Hollywood Brown for the season. Pacheco's out for multiple weeks on IR, and now it looks as if Rashee Rice, he's been cooked. It's not official as of the time of this recording. I've seen speculation that it should be an ACL. Those are usually pretty easy, pretty cut and clear, but at the same time, I understand that they're going to probably look at as many options as they can, maybe see if maybe it's a partial tear, and that's why we haven't had anything definitive, but what do you think, Brennan? Oh, you're smiling through the pain? Yeah, I bet you're smiling through the pain. As many shares that you have in Rashee Rice and Best Ball, I'm sure, yeah, you just wave it off. That's what I thought, buddy. Travis Kelce, here we come. 7 for 9, 89 yards. This is what we looked at the first year when we lost Tyreek Hill to Kansas City. Or I guess lost him from Kansas City to the Dolphins. It's going to be Travis Kelce's show with no Rashee Rice there. Now they don't have the run game that they thought they did. Kareem Hunt looked pretty good, 14 carries, 69 yards, caught 2 of his 3 targets for 16. He's going to be a great waiver pickup, but he's not going to be the Kareem Hunt of old. And we're going to need to see Kelce step up. We're going to see him be a huge part of this offense. I think Xavier Worthy will be a part of the offense, but that's not his role. He doesn't have that slot ability. He's not playing, the quick ADOT. I'm sure they're going to find a way to kind of give him a couple of those plays, but manufactured for him is going to be those deep plays, those field stretching plays, kind of leaving Kelce in that Rashee Rice role to kind of absorb all of those targets there in the middle. So I'm excited there. Worthy might be a sell in some formats. If there's enough hype behind him, people are getting excited that he's going to be willing to step up. Outside of that, you've got Justin Watson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman. Oh my God, is it 2020 again? All right, everybody. Of course, yes, the Indy favorite fan over here. I've got to talk about them a little bit. Anthony Richardson left the game after they had already put some points up on the undefeated Steelers. Right down there at the goal line, Anthony Richardson comes out of the game holding his hip. He goes right back in right after that, call a QB run, and he comes out of the game. From what I've seen from the Colts, it looks like he could have gone back into the game to protect him. They were already holding a lead. They just kind of put Flacco out there and said, hey, cruise control this bad boy. So what I've kind of heard from the doctor area, the people talking about these medical injuries, it looks like it's just going to be pain management for him. The hip pointer is going to be the best case scenario. No long-term injuries. We should see him back this week playing against Jacksonville. Maybe they feel confident just putting Flack out there, giving him another week rest, Richardson. But all in all, the guy needs reps. He's young. He's inexperienced. He needs to be out there getting reps. So I really hope we get to see him out there and playing, especially against Jacksonville. If he is now a streaming quarterback, that's a matchup you want. Jonathan Taylor left the game with what's being called a ankle sprain. I believe it's a high ankle sprain. We're still getting more information on that. He says he'll be good to go. Usually you end up missing a game. Trey Sermon would be the guy stepping up. Tyler Goodson also will be in the mix, but I imagine Trey Sermon will be the bell cow back to replace Jonathan Taylor, who had 21 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown, caught 3 of his 4 targets for 20 yards. Najee Harris on the other side had the backfield relatively to himself with Jalen Warren gone, 13 carries, 19 yards. Against this Colts defense, our best run blocker is out. He's on IR, and DeForest Buckner. So I don't know what happened there. I think I'm finally going to have to fall on the fact that Harris may be cooked. And just some honorable mentions. We've got Pickens finally blowing up 113 yards. Pittman, same, 113 yards. And then Downs with 82 yards and a touchdown. Flacco, we will see Pittman and Downs both possible used pieces, and if it's just Anthony Richardson, it's only going to be one of them. But Anthony Richardson did connect with Pittman several times, including a deep ball, so I think they want to get him more involved and get these two working together. We paid the guy. It's just going to happen that way. Something burning? I think a coach is about to get fired. That's what it is. Trouble in Philly. They are off on their bye week this week, hopefully to get Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown back, ready to go. Sirianni needs to screw his head back on right or pull it out of his ass because I don't know what's going on with this team. Rematch between the playoff bout between the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Eagles now 2-2. Buccaneers are now 3-1 after their 33-16 victory. Baker Mayfield. He's baking up more than I can eat in a day. I'm just sitting there shoveling my face with all of this. 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also rushed in for a touchdown. Baker, man, I was all into you last year, and I was worried about the regression this year. No, we've got it, and we got it good. Mike Evans got another touchdown this week. Trey Palmer pulled in a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 9 targets, 6 catches, 69 yards. Not quite what we're used to from him, but he still looked awesome. All right, folks. What we need, though, is the clarity in the running back room for the Buccaneers. Rashad White looked like garbage. We're ready to move on, right? Bucky Irving. We talked about picking him up last week, and he popped up with a hamstring injury on Thursday. Still ended up playing, but luckily these two were able to both get equal snaps, and we can figure out which one's better, right? Irving, 10 carries, 49 yards. White, 10 carries, 49 yards. What to do with these two. I guess they're both flex options at this point. Rashad White did not get the touchdown. Bucky Irving did. That was really the deciding factor between the two. Saquon Barkley over there just continues to crush. 10 carries, 84 yards. Caught 2 of his 4 targets for 32. Average day for the guy. Didn't get in the end zone. But what do you expect when Sirianni is calling plays? All right, Caleb, where you at? First overall pick, went to the Bears. You're supposed to be the 4,000 guy. You're supposed to be the savior for the city. The Windy City is looking for something, and it's just not coming in yet. Caleb Williams, 17 for 23, 157 yards, and a touchdown. 5 carries for 12 yards. Matthew Stafford was actually worse than that. 20 for 29, 224, a pick. What were the touchdowns? What were the touchdowns there, Matthew? Of course, Kyron finds the end zone. 19 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Caught 4 of his targets for 10 yards. Kyron just seems to be matchup proof at this point. We're going to have some games, I'm sure, where they're just going to keep him out of the end zone. But until then, he is almost a guarantee for a touchdown a week and just all the involvement in the world. Ronnie Rivers only not 6 carries for 26 yards. Changing the guard, maybe, with the wide receivers just in time for Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua to come back in a few weeks, possibly. But at this point, Atwell still seems to be the big play guy. 4 for 6, 82 yards. Whittington, I was excited about him a couple weeks ago, thinking that he should plug into the Cooper Kupp role. We saw more of that this week. 6 for 8, 62 yards. Demarcus Robinson a little less on his involvement for 2 for 3, 37. Then Tyler Johnson, he was a speculative ad, but it looks like at this point you can drop him. DJ Moore over there, 3 for 6, 22 yards and a touchdown. He looks like he's back in Carolina. Just sad. He's mopey. He's a little pissy. You can see him down on the end of the bench by himself. Keenan Allen, 3 for 3, 19 yards. Rome Odunze, 1 for 3 and 10 yards. Talk about a disappointment. I was hoping that these two teams could just a little shootout, just a tiny one, and Rome Odunze would be more involved, but not this week. And Cole Kmet went back to doing Cole Kmet things after his spike week last week. 3 for 3, 34 yards. Eat that, Nathan. All right, and the last game I want to talk about here is the Ravens and the Bills matchup. Bills coming into the game undefeated, 3-0. Ravens were 1-2. They've had a rough 0-2 start. Got a win last week. And the Ravens just did Ravens things. You can run on the Bills right now. You can run up and down, and that's what Derrick Henry did. His first play from scrimmage was this huge 70-plus yard touchdown. Just looked like he's out there playing with Pee Wee football. It was kind of ridiculous. He finishes with 24 carries, 199 yards, and a touchdown. 3 receptions, 10 yards, and another touchdown. Justice Hill, this was the wild part, led the team in catches. 4 carries for 18 yards, 6 for 6, 78 yards, and a touchdown through the air. What in the world? Oh, and Patrick Ricard, the fullback, he got a touchdown on the game because Derrick Henry fumbled in the end zone. So Henry could have had just south of 40 points. It would have been insane. Because of that, Lamar's still going to get his 13 for 18. That's all he had to do. 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown. It's nothing but the running backs and the quarterbacks for Baltimore. Bateman's useless. Aguilar's useless. Flowers, 1 catch on 2 targets for 10 yards. What in the world? And then, I don't want to talk about it, folks. I really don't. I was wrong. Most of us were wrong. It hurts. It's not fun. But Mark Andrews, 0 for 1. 1 target. Didn't even catch it. Isaiah Likely, 1 for 2. 26. It's just the game. Now that's kind of the thing we need to look at here is the game script. These last 2 weeks have put them in the position to run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And when that happens, they don't have to pass it. They've never had a running attack like this before. So it's just new territory for us. So at this point in time, Mark Andrews is going to be a streamer. We're looking for good matchups, and I don't know what that indicator is to show us that. Josh Allen, very day, 16 for 29, 180 yards, and 20 on the ground. All the Bills were just gross. Khalil Shakir, it's the only person worth noting on that team. 4 for 5, 62 yards. That was the piece of noting, if that tells you anything. Everybody, thank y'all for listening. We had a great time. I know, Brent, shut up. Jeez, he's so rude sometimes. I'm trying to do this sweet outro for you, and he's just coming in here with his charm and his jokes and his witty. See, you were supposed to say banter there, but you didn't fill it in. See, we're working on it. Looking a little stiff today, Brennan. Otherwise, 5 shows a week here on the Too Much. Nope, that's right. They wouldn't let me change it to the Fantasy Football Advice Network, not the Too Much Fantasy Football Advice Network. We're working on that. We're getting there, folks. But until then, make sure you reach out to us. Come hang out with me every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be doing Walking the Wire, mainly waiver wire stuff. But you know what? You ask me any question, I'm probably going to answer it, even if it has nothing to do with football. You know what I mean? But yeah, come hang out with us there. Doing that, probably just me, maybe Brennan. But if not, Brennan will be back with me tomorrow on Wednesday to start covering the Thursday game and some start-sit questions. Until the next time, check me out on the platform. What platform, Ryan? Oh, this one.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.